The issues of persons living with disabilities has for so long been monopolized by silence, discrimination, and above all, avoidance. We at Spero Child International are starting the journey of spreading hope because we believe hope is power. And this starts with this talk show, breaking the ice and slowly making known the issues of these people who live among us, are part of us, and are one of us. WHO estimates that over 15% of the world's population live with some form of disability, and yet, even as we grow up, there seems not to be enough info about such persons. What are your childhood memories about different people living with disability?
So on my side, growing up, I never had much knowledge about disability because in my primary, especially when I was a very young boy, we used to have kids who used to have physical disabilities. But these kids, we used to fear, or we would not be close to them, thinking that when we get close to these kids, we would get the problem, like the disability they have. So it was a big problem that they used to be lonely. And of course we didn't know, and we were not told that it's a normal thing and it does not cost you anything to just be close to this child. So we used to refuse to play with them just because we used to fear that, and it continued for a very long time. And growing up, reaching P7, I started wondering why we would see these people differently, because I had a relative who had a physical disability and was also having challenges of discrimination. You would see his home, he's seated alone, and the challenge was that most of us would not care so much about that, about her thinking or her situation. We used to think, they're also like that, so we would not care so much. But until I grew up seeing the difficulties this relative would go through, what people would talk, and I realized there was really some gap in the way they are cared for. So I felt need for maybe one day something could be done for them. But the truth is, we grew up not knowing how to live with these people. And I don't know how other places do it, but it would be really something grateful that if we knew how to live with them or to be happy with these kids, I think they would be happy with us. So I really don't. I've now come to realize that it was not something good. It's not good to experience it, because if you're in someone's shoes who is like that, then you would know how hard it is to live in such a situation. And they really need our care, which is something I realized later on that we never had knowledge about, and there's some serious challenging. That I realized later on.
That's, I think, an experience very many people share. What about you, Sarah?
When I was growing up, I think I used to see people with disabilities in communities. I didn't have a chance, let me call it a chance, to have a relative who had the same issue, but I used to see different people in my community. Then also in school, I saw a few, like two. To recall, like two. So it was not so eye-catching for me, because there was a way I felt about it, that I wasn't curious to know what was really going on. And also having a school where we had deaf and dumb children next to us became so normal, and we used to want to interact with them, but there was a way it was so hard, because as we are trying to interact with them, they also have a certain view of how they are looking at us. So it became so difficult for both of us, to interact, for them to interact with us and us to interact with them. And then we had bullies who made everything worse.
That's worse,
they just made everything worse, because I don't know, but most of people with disabilities have anger issues.
Yeah.
The ones you've experienced.
Yeah, they're so short-tempered.
And they're very keen.
Yeah. So it was so, I don't know. But when I kept on growing up, I said wanting to know what was going on, but still had no solution. The mere fact that even the people with like our family members, our teachers used not to care to bring to our to bring it to our knowledge that these people they need help. To teach that these people need us, and the families. There is a way it looks so hard for the family members. So it was the mere fact that I had my child mind and my child brain. It was really hard for me till when I joined campus and I said to.
Okay. Yes. So I think even them, like in your experience, you finding maybe short-tempered persons is because of how they were treated, probably, and that is how they were reacting based on how people were treating them.
Because the parents used to bring them in boarding. Actually, that school was a boarding school. It wasn't like a mixed day, and it was strictly boarding school.
Okay.
So they used to be there. Even during the holidays, we used to see them.
They would stay in school, so they would not go home.
Yeah.
Wow. So their families would literally abandon them?
I really don't know. But they had different organizations or white organizations who used to take care of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so during the holidays, they would provide something and
Okay. That's good. I think even what you've said, I sort of resonate with it because I've also experienced some of those similar things. For me, one of the most striking childhood memories that I have had with different children living with disabilities was usually when I would go with my mom to run different errands, be it going to the market, going to the bank. Majority of the time, I would find these children on the roadside, either alone or with another child, asking for help, asking for money from different people. And what would surprise me and strike me so much is because most people used to ignore them and just pass them by, go about their daily business, and they were almost oblivious, and it's almost like they were not visible to the world around them. So I would see a child who is just like me, as old as I am, and he or she is on the roadside begging, and I would ask my mom, because at that time I did not have any money, and I would ask my mom, why don't we give this child, put at least 100 shillings on this person's plate, because I would feel embarrassed to just pass by. And what embarrassed me more is how majority of the adults would equally pass by. So while I would wonder, definitely, because also, just like you, in my schools, we weren't really taught so much about these different children. So after that meeting of them, I would forget, obviously, until the next time I meet another child who would again remind me about their situation. So in my experience, they are usually forgotten on the roadside, not given support, not given attention, not given a listening ear. And so I grew up with quite little knowledge about different disabilities, and also fear as well, because they were separated from other children or other people, and people would not really play with them. So you wonder why, and it's easy to just continue with that environment and not try to maybe break the status quo. But I think now we are trying to do that by having such conversations.